Hey everyone, spoilers will be complete tomorrow. So we're going to be doing all of the cards in Kaldheim. I'm thinking by color. That's what we've done in the past. So let me know if you have a different way that you'd actually want to see these. But I'm thinking just actually break down every single card in the set with a perspective on Legacy, on Pauper, on pre-release weekend when you're going to be doing your sealed decks and just going through everything. And there's so much for me to love in this set. I am trying to get out of my own way. I don't even know if it's a good idea to talk about this. I feel like the marketing for this actually ruined it a little bit for me. And I'm going to just try and push all of that out of my head and just focus on the cards because there's a lot to assess there. There's, obviously the power level, the aesthetic, the collectability, the quality. Hopefully the card quality is where it needs to be as well. There's a lot to do there. The marketing just felt very fake to me. Like the metal band that they had at the intro of this when they were doing their live stuff just felt like kind of like Big Bang Theory. Like, you know how like it's not even for nerds. It's like for people that know nerds. Like, I don't know, maybe some of you guys watch Big Bang Theory, but I actually don't know anyone that does except for like parents of kids that like play MTG or whatever. Like my dad actually thinks that show is just like kind of represents like nerd life or whatever, and it's cringy. Cringe is probably the right word, I guess. The whole marketing around this kind of made me cringe, and I just want to ignore all of that and focus on the cards, because at the end of the day, that's going to be forgotten to the times, and the cards are going to be the thing that we are left with. That's going to be the legacy of Kaldheim, is going to be the cards and their impact on the game, and of course their collectible nature as well. So I'm looking forward to getting into all of that. And with that little kind of negative aside out of the way, just going to touch on some things that I am really excited about. I love the Phyrexian script. I love the concept of the storyline. This Viking realm is perfect for me. I love Norse mythology. It's my favorite pantheon. And, the Norse gods are amazing because they actually have the ability to die. Like not only do they have the ability to die, many of them know how they're going to die, and they still face that very thing. So like Thor knows he's going to die from the world serpent, and he faces it in his life multiple times, even though it's the only thing that can kill him. It's been prophesized. That is how he is going to die. And he still faces it because that's what heroes do. So that has always been my favorite pantheon. Well, not always. I mean, I read through all sorts of Greek and Norse mythology, and that's the one that ultimately I fell in love with the most. We do have the Phyrexian script here on Vorinclex, which I love. I'm a big fan of different fantasy languages. I'm a big nerd with that type of stuff. I used to write in Dwarven runes all the time, little notes to my wife and stuff. And that is something that when I discovered The Hobbit and it had those runes in it, and then I figured out that it was a cipher and just like memorized that, and like just that afternoon that I went through and like pieced together from all the writing in the book what all the different letters were, that was just like burned into my brain, where I was just like, that is just a thing I know now. And I just love fantasy languages in that regard. They just bring a layer of realism and immersiveness that it's tough to do otherwise, which is why Tolkien's, primarily he was a linguist, and he built that fantasy world on top of that. It was really a way for him to play with language. So I love seeing that. There's so much in this set for me to love. The art on the alternate versions of the cards has this kind of heavy metal comic book-ish feel. And I mean, I get what they were going for with the marketing, but like I'm going to measure it based off of the cards, whether or not I think it looks awesome or not. I think this looks awesome. I love the border, the Celtic knotwork. I'm a big fan of that. I've done a lot of work in that style in the past as well. So just tons for me to love here. Even just the choices of the color palette. Now it's not quite black and white with a red like I'm blanking on his name. Frank Miller, Sin City. When you have the black and white printing press, and then you have just select amounts of ink, which was kind of like working with an artistic limitation. This is similar to that, but we can see like blue tones and stuff as well. But that red really just creates a fun contrast and just makes an awesome looking card. I don't actually know which version I'll end up liking the most out of all of those Vorinclexes. I also don't know how you get them. That I'm going to have to look into, because I am not going to lie, they have not been super clear with where you can get each card from each set. That they could definitely improve on that. And then they even have woodworking. I mean, talk about things that are like just perfect for me. They've got this actual carving. It looks like just a photograph of a carving that they kind of touched up in Photoshop. It looks like the leaves there look like they're like just like selectively colored. But there's a whole lot for me here. So I'm not sure I'm actually going to post this video because it does have that little negative aspect to it. And I don't want to bring this set down. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing a pre-release event online. This will be hopefully we will be able to fire it and actually make that happen. We're going to have more organization around it this time. In the past, during this shutdown, we've just told people like, hey, the Discord server's open if you want to play. We're going to do an actual organized event and potentially do one for the release weekend as well. Let me know, actually, if any of the listeners here are interested in getting pre-release kits through the store and want that shipped to you so you can actually play as part of the community. Let me know, because I know a lot of people are interested in playing but don't necessarily have a legacy deck, and that could be a really fun way of engaging with the community and discovering the new set. So those are just some initial thoughts. Going to be doing all of the spoilers for all of these cards starting tomorrow. That's when the final cards are going to drop, so we're going to make that pretty Herculean task. I mean, it's a lot of cards to go through, but we're going to get through it and hopefully have some great cards to talk about for Legacy, for Pauper, and then give you some insight into how to build that pre-release pool with just some initial thoughts, and also get it down on record. So anybody that wants to take shots at me for being totally wrong on some stuff, we will have the video evidence and be able to go with that as well. So that is it. Thanks for watching. I'm really looking forward to doing all of these spoilers for you guys. And if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. Peace.